I put out a short a couple weeks ago talking about how George Lucas envisioned Maul as the main antagonist of the sequel trilogy. We would have likely seen a Luke versus Maul showdown at some point in this trilogy. Obviously, this never happened as Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney and then Maul was killed by Kenobi in Star Wars Rebels. But this got me thinking, who would win in a fight between Luke Skywalker and Maul? The first question that must be asked is, which versions of these characters are we going to use for this hypothetical fight? The younglings probably fared better against Anakin than Maul would against Legends Luke. But if we put Luke from A New Hope up against Clone Wars Maul, he's gonna get clapped. So in order for this to be the most fair battle it can possibly be, I'm going to pit Luke Skywalker from the Return of the Jedi Mandalorian era up against Maul from the Clone Wars. I considered using Luke from The Last Jedi, but I mean, he was separated from the Force for like 90% of that movie and had a stick fight with Rey, so you can thank Rian Johnson for not giving us a complete picture of Luke's power. There are going to be 4 rounds: physical, strategy, lightsaber skill, and force ability. Whoever takes more of these rounds will be the winner. Physical. Luke Skywalker has proven himself to be fairly physically strong for a human. He sports a lean, athletic build and uses it with great effectiveness. He was able to overwhelm Vader's defenses using sheer power, and he was able to slice through the Legion of Dark Troopers like a lightsaber through a Tusken without breaking a sweat. Maul, on the other hand, by this point is only half a man, but his cybernetic legs afford him much more durability, and I just want to bring this up. Maul totally ate his real legs, right? Stranded on a garbage planet with not much to eat, oh look, my severed old legs. Delicious. His cybernetic legs also would not tire and would allow him to keep fighting for longer. Furthermore, Zabraks are stronger and more athletic than humans anyway, so I feel that Maul has a comfortable advantage in the physical department. Strategy. For someone who is incredibly strategic and well prepared outside of combat, Maul is a terrible strategist when he's engaged in a duel. In almost every single duel he participates in, he underestimates his opponent, and it often costs him. He does this against Obi-Wan on a handful of occasions. He does this against Ahsoka, who by all accounts was an inferior duelist than he was at the time, and he does this against a freshly blind Kanan Jarrus, who absolutely was an inferior duelist than him. So this round is a lot more about Maul's lack of strategy than Luke's aptitude for it. Maul is going to underestimate Luke, and this could lead to Luke taking advantage of a careless opening or maneuver from Maul. Strategy goes to Luke. Lightsaber skill. Both of these combatants are pretty impressive lightsaber duelists. Let's start with Maul. Maul has participated in over a dozen lightsaber duels during his time. Some of these take place during Rebels, so we'll disregard those, but even so, Maul is one of the most experienced duelists around. He's fought opponents such as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Sidious, and General Grievous. He's killed Qui-Gon Jinn and Pre Vizsla. Quite frankly, Maul relishes lightsaber combat. It is his element. His athletic usage of Form 7 Juyo would be unlike anything Luke has ever seen in terms of its aggressive ferocity. On the other hand, we have Luke, who at this point has only dueled Vader twice. Vader is impressed with his son's abilities and says as much despite toying with and besting Luke on Bespin. Luke is eventually able to defeat his father in their next duel, but this was extremely circumstantial as Vader did not truly wish to strike his son down. Still, an impressive feat by Luke as he was able to overpower Vader and disarm him, literally. Plus, we know from Rebels that Maul feared Vader and wanted to escape Malachor before Vader arrived. But again, Vader was holding back against Luke, seemingly quite a bit too. How would Luke fare against a prime Maul who was not holding back at all? Probably not all that well. Lightsaber combat goes to Maul. Force ability. Luke Skywalker is very strong with the Force. He is the son of the Chosen One, so it is safe to assume that while his midichlorian count probably isn't as high as his father's, it is still very high. He has a great deal of potential with the Force. In The Last Jedi, he's able to project himself to Crate from across the galaxy, a remarkably difficult feat that ends up killing him. But as of the Mandalorian time period, we haven't seen him even approach the limits of his potential. We've seen him use abilities such as Force Push, Pull, Crush, Choke, and he's made excellent use of those abilities too. especially against the Dark Troopers, where he seamlessly uses those abilities in tandem with his lightsaber attacks. For having to teach himself a lot of these skills, Luke is very impressive. But is it impressive enough? Maul's strength has never been his knowledge or usage of the Force. He prefers to engage his enemies with his lightsaber first and foremost. This isn't to say his ability with the Force is lacking, however, he is still able to utilize all the abilities Luke can. His most impressive feat with the Force is no doubt when he goes on a rampage against the clones in the final episode of the Clone Wars. He absolutely destroys them and then destroys the reactor using just the Force and causes the Star Destroyer to go down. This is quite a bit above anything Luke has achieved with the Force by the time of The Mandalorian, so I'm going to give Maul this round as well. In the end, Maul defeats Luke 3 rounds to 1. He's just a much more experienced, better trained, and powerful combatant than Mandalorian-era Luke. I think Luke would put up a decent fight, but he simply would be overwhelmed by Maul, having never fought anyone comparable to the former Sith. This is just my opinion though, so let me know what you think down in the comments below. Obviously, we don't know a whole lot about Luke after this point. It's a big gray area where we haven't had a lot of comics or shows or books cover Luke from beyond The Mandalorian, so we don't know how skilled he is. I imagine he gets very skilled and would probably best Maul, but we just don't know, so maybe once we find out, I'll make another video revisiting this. But as of right now, I think Maul is just superior in more ways than Luke is. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I'm Zach, and I'll see you in the future.